everyone. This is Starseed Heart, and I'm going to do a special reading tonight on what's going on in July. So I did a morning reading for all signs and then every sign in the tarot. And it really troubled me for about 4 or 5 signs that it was stating that you need to realign. And hold on, I'm doing some notes on astrology. I had to go and look up some astrology. I'm going to share some information with you and talk to you a little bit, and then we'll go into the reading. It troubled me because I never like to encourage anyone to let go of anyone in their life. I don't let go of people per se. I let go of situations. I let go of scenarios. I know that most of the people that have come into my life are for a reason. And when it's time for us to catch up again, that's how it will be. I was wondering why July is such a realignment month. And why we were having so much importance in the energies on clearing and purging in the sense of items. And feng shui came up a lot in the messages that I received in my meditations prior to me starting my readings for July. I'm actually going to redo my readings for July. I'm going to leave them up, but I'm going to wait until the full moon takes place tomorrow. And I can tell you that I want to share with you some information. There's conflicting information on the full moon, and I've heard it from 3 different people. Some astrology channels that I watch in my own personal time that I don't share on this channel, just for the reason that most of the starseeds and originators and people who are in our community already have their own guides, and I don't like to influence their paths. That's what makes us a collective. That's what makes us a community, is the fact that we all are doing our research and sharing our knowledge in a different way. And so I don't like to influence someone else in that way. When it comes to me running into a great resource as far as healing, I always share that. But that's my niche, right? So let's talk a little bit about it, because it concerns me that came up so much in our readings. So in one of the astrology segments that I watched, it shows that this is going to be a triune moon. A triune conjunct between Sagittarius, Venus, and Mars. Yet it's going to be a full moon in Capricorn. And then the end of July, actually July 23rd, it's going to be, Venus is going to go into retrograde. Now, one of the things I can tell you about Venus is the god of love and the god of war, goddess of war. So anything that has not been a battle worth fighting in your life is going to be released this month. Anybody who you have put energy into that it's not working out, or anyone where you've put a lot more effort than them into a situation. I can tell you I've had that happen recently with someone that I was helping, and I had to stop and really research why was there so much conflict in a situation that should be so easy. And I saw that I was missing an aspect. And sometimes when you're giving too much, you have to pull back. Because there is a real, for instance, this hole right here where this snag has taken place in this fabric. During a growth spectrum, for us as people, the divine, God, everything will squeeze you through that tiny little hole so that you feel broken. And when you come back out, it's a blossom, it's a bloom, right? You are new again. And when someone like me who, well, I know when to pull back, but someone like me who tends to give and be too much, right? I get in the way of that little hole and I have to pull back. And when I see when it's time for someone to go through that little hole, I have to let go. Because they're not growing any longer. And that's when you know that it's time to stop helping someone. That's when you know it's time that when there's a person that you love in your life, your relationship either has to change, reform. Not necessarily that they have to be completely eliminated from your life, but the current situation that you're in together, right? So we're going to pull up some cards about this discussion. We're going to see what's going on in July as far as our realignment as a community and a starseed community, why it's so important to us. We're going to ask the divine and our guide teams to guide us through these messages. I felt like this needed to be discussed with you, why I'm going to redo the videos. I'm not taking down the first videos, but I wanted to have that discussion with you on why I am doing it. Because I personally do not like to be the person that advises in any way, shape, or form that you're going to have in a realignment. I'm more of the person of stability and flow, but I'm farther along in my life, and I already have a sense of peace and stability and flow that other people, sure, momentary drama will affect. However, long term, no, I already know where my goals are. I already know where my vision is. I know what is of importance to me in my life. Regardless if that's something that I'm actually working on in the forefront or on the sidelines, or even just manifesting and praying for in the background. All of that I already know. And I tend to work with people who have a lot of insecurities. I'm drawn to work with those individuals until they are secure about themselves. They feel like they can speak up for themselves. And once I feel like they get to that point, I let go. But with this individual I've been working with, and it's actually been an entire year, it went a lot farther than that. We became roommates, and yes, we're moving into a place of wisdom at this point, and that is why it is time to realign yourself. So if there's anyone who is going to get in the way of you working on your higher self throughout the end of the year, you're probably going to put them on pause. And when I say realignment, I don't mean they have to exit your life. I mean, you're going to put them on pause. That's correct. You're going to change focus into other areas. You're going to let them know that what is important to them, what they consider success and growth, is not how you view things. That's not success and growth to you. And it's different for each individual. I wish I had the name of the book. It was the lady who writes it. It could be easily researched on Google if you're interested in that subject matter. But it tells you about the 7 different categories of people and the different views on success. For some people, success is love and happiness and peace. Some people, it's money. Some people, it is. So when you're walking away, you know when you make this decision that it's the right one to make, even though it's hard to make. Yes. And in the end, you're both going to turn out, you and the other individual are going to both turn out to start going forward on your path, your each individual path. So I feel like we've had a lot. I feel like the July 2023 is a crossroads for a lot of people, the collective, actually. And so we have to understand that about ourselves. So as light workers and starfeet seeds, we want to constantly do good in the world. We want to constantly help the needy. But then there's a point to stop, right? And I know that. And sometimes I have to be reminded that is enough. I hate to see someone impoverished that doesn't want to be. There are people who are impoverished in this world that are emperors and empresses in the spiritual world. They don't care to be wealthy in human form. They are already on a spiritual level. In the spiritual realm, there is endless amounts of wealth, endless amounts of prosperity. And that is gained through doing things that fulfill your soul purpose. And everybody's soul purpose is different. I watched a reader today, and she said it so well. Some people's life journeys on this planet are literally to live an entire life of dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is absolutely, totally not necessary. It really isn't. I'm not sure in any way, shape, or form how that can give you more of a transformation than working in the light and having something like the scenario that I'm talking about happen. It's just as painful to work in the light and have to separate from a situation that you were so invested in. It hurts your heart. And when you do it, you feel like, am I doing the right thing? And in this aspect and in this time, with this triune moon, with Capricorn, with Venus getting ready to go into retrograde, if you are doing it with good purpose. And that is going to be the message for as we transition into July. I will be redoing the readings for career love. I don't know that I'm going to be redoing the good morning meetings because that is what's going on. We are going to be having a catharsis in July 2023. Release, revelation, exploration, discovery, perception, and truth. Everyone's perception and truth is different, and please know that. What you believe to be the truth in a situation and your perception may not be in line with the other individual. And that's okay. It really is. It's really not your place to change their perception unless they want to have that conversation with you. You can't force somebody else to change their perception. You can't force someone else to change their perspective. And I think that if you don't know this already, that you will learn this through exploration and discovery in the spiritual realm. And I feel like this reading is twofold, right? And that is why the spiritual world has been brought up in this reading. What is happening here, the letting go of people, is happening on the physical plane in July. And please note that when you let go of these individuals, whether it be for a small period of time, a large period of time, or you walk away entirely and never speak to each other again, you will have spiritual growth in the spiritual world because of the situation. Both of you will be back on your path. I feel like this has kind of been the intermission for a major growth stage that's going to be taking place. And this growth stage is twofold for both of you, both here physically on this planet and spiritually. The growth will be taking place moving forward. If this happens, if you're able to release this person, and it will bring you a new form of wisdom. Just like I told you about how God's plan or the divine's plan sometimes is to make you go through squeeze through this smallest hole in the universe in order to come back out and bloom. And when you squeeze through that smallest hole, you're shedding all your skin. You're shedding all of this dark night of the soul mess. I've done it. I did it for 2 years. I don't recommend it to anyone, and I never will. I don't think that any way, shape, or form it helped my spiritual growth at all. Maybe it did so that I knew what it was and I could explain it to people who come to me. The things that you can do in the dark night of the soul, you can do in the light. I just don't agree with it. I got much more out of clearing in the light than I did in the darkness. But, other people, to each his own. And so, you have to remember that sometimes we are required to make it through that needle hole in the universe. And I'm not talking about in this cloth. There may be a point in the universe that the divine needs you to go through. And when you get to that exact coordinate, you are going to make it through this smallest, minutest hole in the universe, and you're supposed to come back out and live your purpose again on the other side. And when you do, you have so many other choices. It's almost like your eyes are open to a whole new world. And it's so funny because I feel like you are fighting this. And when I say this you, it's plural you, and it's only to a select group of the collective. I feel like you're fighting this and you're like, okay, I'm going to leave these two things behind, right? But I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm going to run off with all these resources, okay? And I'm going to hide them in the closet. But in the end, when the universe has you travel through that most minute hole, all of those things are left behind. And that's why you hear when people have gone through major transformations in their life, they have literally lost every physical thing they own. Everything. And they come back out with nothing. And they build an entire life starting from scratch. And those are really 99.9% of the time, the stories that you read about in the history books or on the internet or in the news, it's always, and 99% of the time, the stories that give us that eye of the tiger feeling is when the underdog comes out from the rock and they are this huge, beautiful owl that wasn't supposed to be there, or a butterfly out of their cocoon. I've seen a lot of different readers. I had to stop this month and go watch. I don't normally watch unless I'm really trying to understand what the collective is seeing. And predominantly, we're all seeing the same thing, that July 2023 is going to be a month of release prior to this Venus retrograde. It's going to be a time of clearing, realignment, a purging out of physical things in your home, maybe working on some feng shui cures for your home, working on Tai Chi, energy flow, working on meditation. I don't see a lot of physical, spiritual projects making it through this month without a transformation, including the one that I just literally had to put to bed. And that's okay, because it's time. They have outgrown your knowledge of life. They have outgrown your support. What they need, you don't have. Does that make sense? You don't have what they need. And that's hard for an individual to say. I have no problem saying it about myself. I don't have what this person needs now. I have what this person needed for the past 11 months. I don't have what they need anymore. They need something else that I don't know. I'm not an expert in. I'm not a leader in. And I'm okay with that. Does that make sense? It's time for me to regroup, re-energize myself. And it's the same for you. And it's okay. You don't have to be someone's guide in every aspect of their life. Just the part of their life that you were supposed to influence, and then you get back up. If you don't come out of this in the month of July, you are literally forcing yourself into a situation where you are not creating growth for yourself nor this individual. And I've seen it multiple times. It would be foolish to do this. You will miss an opportunity. Now, I'm not saying go dump all your tools out of your toolbox, all of the people that you're in conflict with. No, you will know the scenario that is not working for both parties. It is an actual mutual disbenefit, and it's so obvious that this needs a realignment. It's to not realign at this point in time with that individual and with the flow of your own personal energy is to give them your energy. And that is not okay. That is not what your energy is for. Your energy is for you. Your energy is for you to do your life purpose on this planet, for you to work towards your work. Now, if your work brings you along if you meet somebody along the way that benefits from this, that's great. But if not, you don't need to give up all your energy to help another individual. It's not necessary, because there are so many other people in this. I mean, at this point, if you do, this becomes an ego issue, right? Beyond a spiritual growth issue. If you cling to this individual when it's time to let go, you're saying, I'm better than the influence of the life purpose of someone else. That is what I'm saying. Yeah, I hope that makes it clear to someone else how that decision not to let go of that obvious needed realignment is ego at that point if you don't let go. If you do, the opportunities are going to start coming in, because your life purpose will then continue again. The universe will know that you're open back up to share the purpose, life purpose, and energy that you're supposed to share, and the universe will be ready to share the opportunities with you for you to grow into the next stage of your life, your energy levels, everything. And I can't emphasize this enough to please look into this month and take the time to clear it out. If it just turns out that for one of you it's just feng shui and there's a chair in your living room that doesn't work for you, fine. That's enough. It doesn't have to be as severe of a situation as it is for me and what I'm letting go of. It could literally be that you give a pair of pants away that just you've been saving for no reason for years, and you're like, I'm going to get into these pants, and you're not getting into those pants. You're not. Does that make sense? I think all of the messages that I've given are clear. I don't see anything else that's of a collective. It needs to be shared on a collective level. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I hope this has helped you explain the importance of letting go of anything that does not align with you in 2023, in July 2023. Thank you. Bye-bye.